All right, I'd like to bring up a panel that many have been waiting for. I see the room is starting to fill up, makes sense. Springna, please come on up with the nifty 30 puppy and your three panelists. I'd like to bring up Larry and Mike and Wes. We're ready to hear all about NFTs in Hollywood.
Hi, everybody. I'll go over there.
Hi, everybody. How are you doing?
Hello.
I wanted
Happy
to sit next
Friday.
to you, Wes.
Happy Friday. We made it this far.
Yes, I'm Springna Zhao, producer for Nifty 30. I'm so proud to be here with my beloved icons from Nifty 30 documentary. It feels like 1 year anniversary since we started filming last year here in NFT.NYC 2024. So may I take a moment to introduce our fabulous panelists, then we'll get started. Okay, great. Well, in my right, you see there's a wonderful gentleman, Larry Dvoskin, Grammy-nominated music producer who worked with Dave Bowie, Rolling Stone, and Beach Boys, so on and so forth. Not to mention 25 million record seller. Yay,
Hollywood, baby.
Larry.
Let's do lunch.
Most importantly, NFT lover and collectors and artists. And in the further right, Henry West, the best NFT artist who work with pop culture icons such as Logan Paul, Snoop Dogg, just to name a few. Ooh, Henry.
Wes
And
Henry.
Busta Rhymes, Val Kilmer, Deepak Chopra, and some others.
Go, Henry. And in my left, that's Pudding, the Nifty 30 ambassador. If you can see, he's wearing this beautiful shirt. Oh, he's not used to spotlight yet. And he wants to go to daddy. That's Jesse. But Pudding has been with us since the beginning, and he's flaunting a beautiful Nifty 30 shirt. We just wanted him to say hello to everyone. And in my left is astronaut, artist, and AI authoritative, Mike Mongo.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Mike.
Happy to be here.
So wonderful to see all of you. So since we met each other from documentary Nifty 30, so why don't you take 1 minute, just share one sentence to our audiences today. What is Nifty 30? Start with you, Mike.
You and I have talked about this a lot. In Nifty 30, there are these moments in the development and advent of new cultures, and inevitably there are important documentaries that get created that capture that moment. And by the grace of good, Nifty 30 is that film, and Springna, you led that, and I'm honored to be here.
Thank
Pow,
you.
pow, pow.
We're honored to have you. Larry, your turn, please.
I'm going to do a Mike Mongo and kapow and say Nifty 30 is really documenting a moment that we're living in right now, which is we're living history. And sometimes when you're in it, you can't realize it until much later when you look back and say, oh, wow, that was happening at that time. So what's great about this collection of people that are talking about it is they're very different. They're great NFT artists. They're technical people. They're people who run companies, people who've had startups, people who are dreamers, people who are going to the moon.
Metaverse, all kinds of, there's cosmic wires in there. It's everybody creating Web3 right now.
Yeah, so it's a mycelium of the best and the brightest of the space. And I turn it to you.
Yeah, I would say any documentary that can get this mix of people and kind of reflect and show that in this space, there are so many people that normally wouldn't interact in daily life. All the people that I listed, I've worked with, it's absolutely insane. I've just doodle on my iPad at night, and that is art that I make JPEGs and put them on the Ethereum blockchain, and that brings about celebrities and get to cross path with all these lovely people and meet just the most. It's been an amazing ride, and this documentary can capture that moment. And when I say moment, the timeline in this space is so condensed that, you know, some of the rise and fall of the markets and what is happening, it is a year put into a week, or a week put into a day, and it's just crazy, and being able to capture that is pretty magical.
Thank you guys for your support. And beyond that, Nifty 30 just is so much more than a documentary. We have a lot of dynamic components to the film that we are going to launch in the next couple of weeks or months. We want to keep you posted. We would love to continue to have your support and input in part of it, from film distribution to fan engagement to royalties, allowed to unveil. So talking about NFTs and technology to traditional Hollywood entertainment industry, I have a question I want to start our fabulous panelists. So in your view, how do you think NFTs changing or democratizing the silver screen from traditional financing?
So just as far as autonomy for artists, that's one of the reasons why I've been able to work with people like Val Kilmer, who support artists, and has Camp Kilmer that he has started. Logan Paul is an early adopter of everything tech and is always ahead of the game and is just a cash machine, so he gets involved. Snoop Dogg has his hands in everything. You see him in the grocery store, literally every product you see, any vertical, any industry, he's involved. And one of the reasons why they love NFTs, including Busta Rhymes as well, and they've been very outspoken about this, is the autonomy. That you can be, like myself is a great example, as just a one-man band. I don't need a gallery, I don't need an agent, I don't need a finance person, I don't need anything. I can create my piece of artwork and put it on the blockchain by myself very quickly from my laptop, sell it, attach a 10% in perpetuity to that, or royalties, so that there's no, you know, agency that can eventually take rights or any of that stuff, and that sells, and then that person goes and sells it. I don't have to track anybody down. That 10% gets put directly into a wallet. So the autonomy for artists in this space is so unbelievable, and it's literally the reverse that we're seeing in so many other industries with, like, you know, Spotify has come out, and what has that done to the music industry, and so many streaming services. It's unbelievable how they've, you know, taken money out of their pockets. So this is kind of bringing the power back to the artists and making them autonomous, and it's extremely important.
Beautifully said, and I want to add on to it. A movie called Zero Contact from Hollywood that's actually launched on View, a platform for film lovers to watch, collect, and trade NFT films and content on-chain that allow them to have direct engagement with the fans without any third party in the middle, and to understand who are their top supporters and how can they generate a better content for their supporters. So I think NFT technology is so powerful in revolutionizing this traditional Hollywood industry.
Yeah, I would also like to add that at NFT New York a year or two ago, there was a whole section on this idea of NFTs as a community, and almost like a DAO. And several of the major filmmakers, from Spike Lee to Martin Scorsese to Francis Ford Coppola, actually have started a section of their business where the people who buy the NFT are the film studio. Instead of the big shots up in the ivory tower, the actual owners of the NFT decide which script is going to be made, who the director is, etc. And so the power and the potential, it's still early days, but the potential is that the actual people who love filmmaking get to make the film they want, and they own part of it. They're not just watching it or hoping that they get some money back.
Indeed, that's just so powerful. And for last year or 2 years ago, OKX started doing the NFT ticketing for Tribeca Film Festival to further engage the fans and continue to understand their preferences of each film they watched. I thought it was amazing. And one of my favorite film, I don't know if you guys have watched it, it is In the Mood for Love, an Oscar winner. they also dropped, thank you, I guess you're a fan too, by the Hong Kongese director, Wang Jiawei. So they also dropped the never-seen footage as NFTs. And Dune, another blockbuster, also dropped the never-seen-before footage as NFTs. So the movie lovers and the fans can really collect those unique pieces. And for Nifty 30, if you guys know this, we actually shot 75 hours of footage from New York to LA to Geneva to Singapore, all over the world, but we only cut it down to 7 minutes long documentary in the end. So it's a lot of precious moments and never seen before interviews. They're so important, and we actually are considering sharing them as NFTs. Just a sneak peek for you guys.
You can do more than one film, because if you have all of those hours, I mean, you also went to Beeple's studio, I believe.
I did.
Yes, you see, there's so much in there of people who are really moving this moment forward.
Yes, we had some very intimate interviews with people in his studio. We went to homes of Justin Rosenstein in Silicon Valley. He was early investor, employee of Facebook, an AI advocate, and he founder and CEO of Asana. And he also is a supportive advocate for AI for Good. So we had some very in-depth interviews and intimate experiences I'd love to share.
I often hear the word revolution when talking about NFTs and Web3, and I think that the important thing to, for me, a revolution is just that we go around in a circle, and I think of what is captured with NFT and NFT 30 is an evolution that has taken place. And it's an evolution of culture, it's an evolution of banking, it's an evolution of commerce, and it's an evolution of artistry, the way that Wes was just describing is bang on. The number of people that I've met, Gabe Weiss. Gabe Weiss is an artist I work with all the time. Gabe was working as a social worker, and he's an artist. And the people that were doing the thing that was supporting their doing the thing they love are now simply doing the thing that we love. And I think that really at this point already, we could do an NFT, or you could do an NFT 30 2.0. We're at that place already where so much has changed and so much has evolved with what is being built here. And for all of us who are in NFTs and Web3 every single day, it can seem like as you put it, it's a year and a week, Wes. And for so many of us, because of that hurried pace, we don't realize that the thing that we're creating here is being embraced by every major industry in the world. That's us. That's here. And this document that has been created here, and as Larry pointed out, it can be broken up into so many different pieces because Springna and the team have 25 hours of all of these people. Cyan Proctor, who is in the documentary, she went to space. I've known her for a decade. She wasn't always an astronaut. She wasn't. She wanted to be an astronaut. She worked for it. She's exactly like you and I. And now she's spent 3 days in space. When she went to space, she carried Mutniks to space. She carried NFTs to space. She carried her work, minted the one that Scott was just showing a second ago. That's us. And if you have an idea, the thing that NFT 30 communicates most clearly is that if you have an idea and you don't pursue it, the only person that's on is you or me. If I choose not to pursue my idea or my dream or my vision with this group of visionaries and leaders who are putting these things together, that's my choice. But what we're modeling and what NFT 30 shows us is that this is our time. We can do this now. The permission that we give is to ourselves. Pow, pow, pow.
Bravo to that.
And I want to pop a pow for what Mike said, that it's not just us up here on the stage or the stages. Actually, all of you who are here are future scientists and astronauts. You're actually builders of the future, whether you have ever even had a crypto wallet or ever created something. The fact that you're here, you're ahead of 99.99999% of the world in seeing the future. So don't underestimate your power. All of you here, I'd like to give you a round of applause for even being here, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's true. That part right there, showing up. Showing up is so important. I mean, even if you are in the culture and you are doing NFTs like we do every single day, how many people heard anyone was like, "Oh, I'm not going to NFT.NYC this year." Pow, pow, pow. Wow, that's so brave. And then I see that, okay, so some of the fans and followers aren't here this year, but look at the bold builders and creators that are here. And that's you in this room right now. I mean, that's what you're talking about celebrating, Larry.
Yeah, to add to that, there's in these markets that are these condensed cycles, you've got your bull and your bear, and you know, you hopefully rise high enough in the bull and take a little cream off the top to be able to float through a long, perhaps 3.5-year bear. And the people that are at some of those conferences that happened in 2021, it was really easy to be a fan. It was really easy to be involved because there was just money coming out of every place you could think of. Everywhere you put your money was growing. It was insane. That was one for the books, right? But this is a cycle that happens. So now the people that showed up this year, right? There's a little less people here. There's a little less hype. There's a little more, I don't know about this thing. The I don't know about this thing happens every time. The mindset of, I think this thing might die, that's the same mentality that happened before. And then when we get up to the top again, you forget about that mentality. You're like, of course it's happening. Of course this is all blowing up and everything's amazing.
Let's go.
And you forget about that
Let's
time
go.
a second ago, and then it goes down again, and you forget about the top, and it just happens over and over again and repeats itself. So right now, if you're here, you're early for the next cycle. So the next cycle hasn't begun. No financial advice given from me, just legally. But I'm just telling you right now, the people that did show up, that's why a lot of these events and things, they are packed with talent and with creators and people really that you know, before it was very easy. Everyone's building their own company. Everyone's the CEO of everything. And it was like very easy to do that. And you could literally make money doing the bare minimum. But now if you showed up, if you're here now, you're in it. And we remember, and you see those people, and you remember who they are, and it's going to pay off. So thank you for coming.
Yes, roger that, and thank you everyone for showing up. And actually, we talked about this yesterday's panel with the Matt Metavet, and the best time to build something is now, actually, during the bear market when there's less noise and people who are really doing it are believers and truly supporters for the community, like you are. And just maybe share a little bit personal experience of building Nifty 30, this documentary. I never made a documentary before. So to your point, Mike, the best way to do something, just do it. Just show up, do it, and do it well. So
It's impossible for me to believe that you've never done this before because I've been on plenty of sets and it was just the height of professionalism.
thank you, but yes,
I wouldn't be
I
sitting
just
here
show up
today
and
if it
do
wasn't. A+.
I appreciate it, and I learned so much from working with you guys, diving into the Hollywood. I had a Web3 community, Web3 career before this in investments, so I totally understand the cycles of investment. No cycle is the same, but if you truly believe in something, the best time to build is when there's less noise and market is actually more favorable to enter. Again, no financial advice legally here, but that's what we truly believe in. But Dr. Sam Proctor, her story in the documentary is so inspiring. She was a regular citizen just like you and I, professor, right? And she became a first African-American civilian astronaut.
That's right.
NFT artist who ever went to the space.
First female commercial
Ever.
astronaut to pilot a spaceship ever. First female commercial astronaut to pilot a spaceship ever. Fourth woman who is black to go to space. And she's an artist, and she creates NFTs. My people, if that is not an inspiring story, then I don't know an inspiring story.
So that kind of story inspired me to continue the documentary going. During the 12th of NFT market, another drop, right? When a lot of rug pulls and FTX crashing, I actually questioned myself, how can I make this documentary? How do I continue on? But I truly believed adversity is opportunity. And I was truly inspired by stories like Dr. Sian Proctor. So I believe a true documentary should not just tell the beauty and the glory and all of the money and the fame in the space, but most importantly, to unveil the real human experiences, the risks, the heartbroken part, and the sadness and the loss. But how do we rise above beyond and go from here? Sky is the limit.
Yeah, and just to add to that wonderful motivation, the empowerment of whatever anyone is doing in here, whatever type of creator you are, you're most likely creating something or selling something. This space is allowed for dreams to come true over and over and over. And one quote that I would get tattooed on my forehead is from Winston Churchill, who said, "Success is stumbling from failure to failure without a loss of enthusiasm." So think about that really hard. That's what the road looks like. So if you're not failing hard quite often, then you're not moving forward. You're not trying hard enough. You're not out of your comfort zone and trying it. And in this space, I've failed more than ever in my life. But you don't hear about that stuff. I tell it to my girlfriend at home, right? She gets to hear that stuff. But no one publicly is going to see those things or hear about the 50 failures it took, but the one win, that's what they're going to see and go, "Oh my God, can you believe that he got to work with this person, or this happened, or this momentous event happened." And it's because of all those failures and I did not lose enthusiasm the whole way through. That's very important. That's what success is. And this is the greatest time to get involved and chase that dream. Literally, chase your dream and do what you want to do, because it can happen. I'm living proof that it can happen. Just try it.
Wes, you said that about like being early. So I mentioned Gabe Weiss a minute ago, and Gabe Weiss in 2022. Me and you, when we get on stage, Pro, it's fire. I'm telling you. And when Gabe Weiss said in January 2022. So now here we are in 2024. He said, "If you're here now, you're early." And then he said, "If you're here 3 years from now, you're early."
And we're not late to a party that is worth attending. My favorite from Larry.
Yeah, this is if all of the times where I have had that conversation with myself, like Wes, my imposter syndrome. Y'all, I'm up here having this conversation. If you think I'm just a gangster lean and casual and I came this way, it's not true. There's a little voice inside of my head all day long that says, "You don't belong here." But here's my relationship with my imposter syndrome. I'm like, "Hey, Pro, you are my ride or die. Wherever I go, my imposter syndrome goes with me. Do not fight your imposter syndrome. That thing right there keeps us alive and well. It makes us question ourselves. Are we making the right decision? That's what this movie is about. Showing
Thank you.
all of this.
Yeah, and I
Nice
want
plug.
to say something. Having been in music for a long time and seen many of my dreams come true, on the other side of that imposter syndrome is a humility that comes from when you actually go through failure after failure after failure, and suddenly the thing happens. Whatever that thing is, it's never what you look like, but that humility is almost like standing at the edge of the Grand Canyon. You look at something and you say, "Wow," like suddenly the universe opens up and you see the goodness of life. We're surrounded by so much horror and loss and terror. And for a brief moment, you get to see the goodness that you have dreamed something and created something. And that is a possibility after all the failures he talked about and all of the imposter syndromes. And at least for me, it's humbling. It's the opposite of getting a big head and buying a Lambo or something. Like, it's not about that.
You can buy a Lambo too.
But it's not about that. It's about dreams, and that's what we're here to do, a purpose-driven life.
If buying a Lambo is your dream, go for it. No, what you're saying right there about that part. So when we get to the place of failure, the brink, and we're worried about that part, we're at that brink that he's talking about, that vast awe. We use that word awful. It is full of awe. Remember, at that place, that's where we put gratitude. My son taught me that. He taught me that last week. He's like, when I'm down and out, or I have that little thing where I'm feeling like I tripped and stumbled and I shouldn't go on, that's the place to plug in gratitude. Yo, this is what we talk about in this film. That's this film, NFT 30. I hope y'all ready for this. Pow, pow, pow.
And also,
Wow.
one more
Pow.
thing, please,
Pow.
everybody,
It's
do me a
coming
favor.
soon. Stay tuned.
Do me a favor. Any content you got out of here, tag me on social media. Tag all of us on social media. Let's be friends. You don't know what that's
Please.
part of the thing. You don't know who you're going to meet and what that's going to turn into. You have no idea. It's limitless. So do that. Let's be friends.
Yes,
Yes.
Thank you.
and tag our very kind host here,
Ian.
Jody, who just walked. Tag NFT.NYC _NYC.
Well, they're all here. There's
Tag
Cameron, there's
NFT
Jody,
30
there's Ian.
doc.
They're all three here together.
They're all
Cameron,
coming
come
up.
here. Let me see you,
Because-
man.
because
I haven't
the
seen all
truth
three
is-
of you in a
Jody.
while.
Let's give our
Woo,
panel a
woo,
hand,
woo.
everybody.
God, I love you all
Let's
Give
so
our
much.
panel a
Cameron.
hand.
Thank you.
Woo!
Oh, my gosh.
Because these
Thank you.
people
Wow.
brought
Thank you so
everyone
much, guys.
together.
You rock.